seems wrong with Ei?
Why would you ask that?
Well, usually you'd pull out your sword and swish!
You are unduly concerned. I'm simply conserving my energy. Although I have some understanding of the situation already, it could take an... I must be prepared for anything. If there are...
Makes sense! Spoken like a seasoned The roots seem pretty badly damaged this time. Hey! The same light is leaking out again!
Furuyama?
Almighty Shogun, what brings you back so soon? I thought you were off fighting a battle in a distant land.
Fighting a battle in a distant land?
Allow me to introduce Furuyama. He is, though blind, Furuyama is unparalleled in his ability to appraise tea. He brews...
Your Excellency, you shower me with praise undeserved. I have simply had the good fortune to be in Your Excellency's presence long enough to become acquainted with all the skill. It sounds like the Almighty Shogun has brought a guest. I'm afraid I'm unable to serve you any respectable refreshments on account of the current situation. But please, after all, it's quite a mess out there.
What should we do? Yeah.
I see. So, they have fought their way this far already. Most of the residents in this neighborhood have already escaped. They wanted to take me with them, but it seemed rather pointless to me. And now the Almighty Shogun is here, I have even less reason to run away. Imagine if this was something that even the Almighty Shogun was powerless. People flee out of a desire to live on. And the desire to live on stems from a feeling of... But me, I have no... The Almighty Shogun often speaks to me about her dreams over tea. Just listening to her stories. I've been blind for many years, but her vivid descriptions took me on a splendid journey to all the most beautiful places in Inazuma. Over time, I've come to understand her mindset. Quite the romantic at heart, a true dreamer. One thing she always says is, good things don't last forever. Everything changes, fades, disappears completely over the passage of time. And so you see, as bleak as things may be now,
Perhaps...
it won't be long now before I have to say goodbye to the Almighty Shogun for the last time. But I suppose it doesn't matter. Everyone says that Inazuma has turned dark now. But to me, it went dark a long time ago. Once this catastrophe is over, life is sure to spring forth anew. But even if... Oh, goodness me. Speaking of... The Almighty Shogun comes to visit and I... One moment, I'll just... Where in the world is the tea set? I hope the others didn't smash it to smithereens in their haste.
Can't see...
Really? But it's always been right by my side. I couldn't possibly have my guests...
Don't worry about it. Take a rest.
Almighty Shogun, you're not going too, are you? No.
This place is... complicated. It's quite unlike the tea house in your memories. Leave it to us.
But... Well, okay. I never thought... I can't decide whether it's a final regret...
Where should we go to find a tea set? Having a cup of tea isn't exactly the most urgent thing to do right now, but at the same time...
I'm also feeling...
It's the Traveler! And the Almighty Shogun! How might I be of assistance here?
I wish to borrow a tea...
Oh! Please step into the courtyard.
Be at ease. I'm not here to see Commissioner Kamisato. Actually...
No. I am your humble servant. I daren't think of my own convenience when the Almighty Shogun graces me with her presence. I'll deal with it right away.
Well, It's not often we have the chance to chat. I'm sure you must have a lot of questions.
Right. Paimon wanted to ask that too. The almighty shogun that he described didn't sound anything like you at all.
I seldom had the time to drink tea. So, in the vast majority of cases, the one he made tea for was the former Electro Archon, who was also my sister, Raiden Makoto. He may well have had an inkling about there being two Raiden Shoguns. The philosophy of life that he shared with us just now, that was Makoto.
You and Makoto had pretty...
Indeed we did. It was, in her eyes, the most precious things in this world. They are similar, but not... When you came charging into the plane of Euthymia, I saw human aspirations light up the sky far above in the form of countless stars. This somewhat shook me. Now, it seems like she was right, while I took the wayward path.
Wow. There sure was a lot going on beneath the surface.
Makoto saw a bigger picture than I did. In her view, a dream is more... An ambition is a yearning for something material, or a concrete outcome. Makoto was more concerned with the force that drives humans to constantly generate new ambitions in the first place. It is something...
That's...
To put it simply, Makoto wasn't concerned about outcomes. I didn't understand at the time. How can we... I suppose what it comes down to is the definition of eternity she set out with. Yes, it does. But in the last analysis, Makoto's philosophy was, on the surface...
Do you feel you're starting to understand her better now?
You have already witnessed my previous views on eternity. But now, I no longer cling to what was lost. I suppose that means our differences have been reconciled.
Almighty Shogun, I found a tea set. This one in particular.
It's quite beautiful. Thank you.
You are too kind. A humble servant such as I does not deserve the gratitude of the Almighty.
It's all good, sir. She's actually pretty chill.
Let us return. We ought not...
Hey, where'd he go? He wouldn't have gone looking for a tea set himself, would he?
Or...
So we won't get to drink his tea? We didn't even have a chance to say goodbye.
The information held in the ley lines is complex and disorderly. The fact that we were able to meet him to begin with was a miracle of fate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this chance won't come. I've watched Furuyama brew tea on many occasions. The tea is ready. So many thoughts were racing through my head as I was brewing it. You're right. I've been reminded of many... Back at the Yashiro Commission, I kept the conversation brief. The events of 500 years ago not only robbed me of my friend, Kitsune Saigu, they also took Makoto away from me. For good.
She died in that disaster too?
Yes. She went to Conria alone, without telling me. Unlike me, Makoto was no martial artist. Whenever similar crises had arisen in the past, I was always the one to face them in her stead. But this time, the circumstances were so grave that Makoto had no choice but to leave me behind. Or perhaps it was more that she went ahead of me, put herself in front of me, so that I would remain hidden. Yes. It was too late. I arrived only in time to hear her dying breath. She had already lapsed into unconsciousness by that point, so all I could do was enter into her mind. As far as you're concerned, it would be somewhere similar to the plane of Euthymia. It was there that we bid each other a final farewell. I cried bitterly. Even in those final moments, I couldn't understand her actions. Why did she go to Conria first, and not I? Why did she keep me in the dark about it? Was it to shield me? It was there and then that I resolved to pursue eternity. As a testament to that decision, I saved her realm of consciousness just before it collapsed completely, and brought it back to Inazuma.
That's quite a story.
When I returned to Inazuma, I was shocked to find that a great sakura tree had appeared on Mount Yogo. The tree that you know as the sacred sakura. That's exactly what everyone back then told me as well. That it had existed since time immemorial. They were so matter-of-fact about it, and couldn't at all understand what I was so surprised about. No one questioned it, and yet its presence contrasted so starkly with the area as I remembered it. It seemed as if I was the only one to have noticed it appear suddenly out of thin air. In the end, I simply had to accept that it was a miraculous effect of Makoto's consciousness. With the help of the sacred Sakura's power, I was finally able to overcome the monsters and quell the disaster in Inazuma.
This is all really hard to understand.
Yes. She had such a great love for this land and for its people. In this, I once told myself that I would never speak of these events again. Facing the fact that she is gone is unbearably painful. But even the tea that is most bitter to the tongue, once swallowed, leaves some sweetness in the throat. And it's time I came to terms with it all.
Oh, while we're on the topic, since you experienced that battle in person...
Brother? You mean to say that he was somehow involved in the Conria disaster?
Based on what we've learned so far, it seems so, yeah.
I'm sorry. I wasn't there for the whole thing. By the time I arrived, the worst of the fighting was already over. And also, my mind was consumed entirely with the plight of Inazuma, and the fate of those closest to me. So, I am afraid I can't help you.
Oh, well, that's a shame. But boy, both of you have experienced great tragedy.
With this last cup of tea, let us honor the Tea Master's memory. Thank you, Destiny.
We should go.